A team of reporters covering the anniversary of George Floyd's death, the demonstrations, and what has changed over the last year. We begin with WBZ's Louisa Moller. She's live in Boston's Franklin Park tonight, where a rally is set to begin in about an hour. Louisa?
Well, David, it's events like the one that's expected to happen here in an hour that spurred Boston city leaders last year to call for police reform and for racial equity. We spoke with one Boston business owner who said talk is good, but we really need lasting change.
So the first thing I did was cry.
When Cheryl Straughter saw George Floyd's neck under the knee of a police officer, her mind flew from the flurry of the kitchen to one thing.
To know that someone was in such pain, so much so that he was crying out for his mother. I didn't think about my business. I thought about the person, because I have a son.
Next, protests moved the conversation from that violent video to a national racial reckoning. What does racial justice mean in the context of running a business in Roxbury?
So justice in our business is about growth.
The owner of Soleil in Roxbury's Nubian Square says her business needs access to big contracts and a marketing campaign to draw customers into her historically black neighborhood. And overall, it requires dignity.
Our reality is black people have been dying for years. You know, we have been treated unfairly for years.
We honor his life and legacy throughout our collective action.
Boston's first black mayor, Kim Janey, marked the anniversary of Floyd's murder today. The acting mayor has announced equity initiatives in city contracting and tourism. Last year, her predecessor, Mayor Marty Walsh, signed an executive order declaring racism a public health crisis. He also commissioned a police reform task force, which led to the creation of a police accountability office with subpoena power and a revised use of force policy for the department. But there are a slew of other reforms that haven't happened, like a public dashboard with officers' internal affairs records.
We recognize that the conditions that led to George Floyd's death are still present.
Roxbury Presbyterian Church Reverend Liz Walker says racial justice needs to be a marathon, not a sprint.
This is a change of the heart. People have to see each other differently, and that takes time.
Now, just 30 minutes ago, Boston police released a lengthy document, a progress report of sorts on police reforms, many of which are in process. They said they have increased training for impartial policing, and they're reviewing recommendations on body-worn cameras and a website that would allow the public to track police misconduct. Live in Franklin Park, Louisa Moller, WBZ News.